April 10th. NBA game picks and spread predictions. Most teams have only 1 or 2 games left. Let's get to it. Ignore the Hayward here. This was before free agency last year. They never updated past then because it's not 2K18. We have Hornets at the Pacers. Pacers looking to solidify their playoff positioning. I think the Pacers win, favored by 3. They should cover. 76ers at the Hawks. 76ers favored by 10 in here. I think Simmons uses this to get more ready for the playoffs. 76ers should win and cover. Suns, or Boston Celtics at the Washington Wizards. Wizards favored by 7.5 on TNT. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. I think the Celtics win this one. I like the combination of Brown and Tatum if they both play well and play healthy. Only thing that worries me is their shooting consistency. And you have the Suns at the Mavericks. Mavericks should win this one. They're favored by 4. They should cover as well. Suns should just be in full draft mode. And then Warriors Jazz, as I see here, I'll explain why this game's up on the screen in a second. Jazz favored by 7.5. Warriors don't have too much to play for. I think they should rest while they can, because they're going to have a tough first round and second round matchups, most likely. Jazz should win. Jazz should cover. Like I said, get the players the rest, especially players like Klay Thompson and Durant, who are coming off injuries. Played a little bit. They deserve it. Rockets Lakers. Rockets favored by 8. TNT 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Chris Paul versus Lonzo Ball. Paul versus Ball. Rockets are favored by 8. They should win and cover. As for the standings, Cleveland has locked up the Central. Toronto has the Atlantic, and the Southeast is a battle between Washington and Miami. But a Washington loss to Boston, I think, locks it up for Miami. And that's interesting because they're the 7th and 8th seed, but they have a chance of winning the division. The seeding looks like this. In the East, Toronto and Boston guaranteed 1 and 2. Cleveland and Philadelphia guaranteed 3 and 4, but it's just a matter of who gets what right now. Indiana's locked in the 5th seed, so Indiana's going to be traveling to Cleveland or to Philadelphia. Should be interesting. Milwaukee is in 6th currently, with Miami in 7th and Washington in 8th. Loss to the Wizards loss guarantees Milwaukee at least a 7th seed at least, which is kind of important because if they want to avoid Philadelphia, that's something that they definitely need to do. And then in the West, we have 7 teams finally locked into the playoffs. 7 teams. We have Houston locked into the 1 seed, Golden State locked into the 2 seed, but Portland only half a game of ahead of the Utah Jazz right now. This is why this is important. If the Utah Jazz win tonight, they tie Portland. They tie Portland with a 48-33 record with 1 game left. The reason why that's interesting is because if Utah can win, take the 3rd seed, they'd host the 6th seed, and they'd hold the 6th seed instead of the 5th seed. And plus, they have a better chance of maybe getting home court if Golden State and Houston get knocked out. You know? Home court in the 2nd round, I should say. If Golden State gets knocked out. New Orleans and San Antonio, Oklahoma all locked up playoff spots with virtual tiebreakers, I should say. For example, if they lost, they'd be 47-34. If Denver and Minnesota both won, they'd be 47-35. Well, they'd be 47-35 if they lost, and then Minnesota-Denver would be 47-35. But with tiebreakers, New Orleans, San Antonio, Oklahoma all won. Now, if Utah loses its last 2 games, one of these teams in 5th, 6th, or 7th could slide up to the 4th, get home court for the first round. But right now, I think Utah would rather face San Antonio than New Orleans. And San Antonio is currently slotted 6th. So maybe Utah does pass Portland. Denver and Minnesota are tied with 1 game left for the 8th seed. Can Minnesota win and lock it up? Or can Denver win, Minnesota lose, and Denver sneaks into the playoffs like they almost did last year? It's a crazy playoff run. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good season. With Steph Curry injured, I don't want to sound like a pessimist. There is really only like one lopsided playoff matchup, I think, and that would be the Houston Rockets versus the Timberwolves. But even then, I think the Timberwolves give them a good matchup with Karl Anthony Towns, because the Rockets have Clint Capella down low, but they don't have a Towns kind of player. It would be interesting to see Wiggins guard Harden. Also, if Denver sneaks in, Denver's young athletic talent with Jokic passing down low should be an interesting matchup for sure. Whether it is lopsided or not, it's still potential for a good matchup. It's better than last year if the Golden State Warriors took on the Jazz or whatever happened. It just seems so disinteresting. But this year with a Curry injury in the first round, it makes almost all first round matchups interesting. Especially with the seeding so kind of not certain right now. It just provides for a lot more intensity this season. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.